Okay, the previous video was the maiden flights using the DX4E radio, and this video is going to be about the DX9 radio and the settings we need for that, and binding it to the Sport Cub S here. In the previous video you saw that I didn't do any special things or tricks like putting it in panic mode or beginner or intermediate mode. I flew all the maiden flights with experience mode. That's for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to get the trim just right on the DX4. That will help me get the DX9 trim set right for the first flight for it. And it will it'll be easier to control the aircraft on a better quality transmitter like the DX9. So after I get the DX9 programmed, I'll take it out to the field with the airplane, and we'll not only do the first checkout that the radio is working okay, but we'll do some of the beginner, intermediate modes as well as the panic mode. So you'll get to see that. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, so here I am with my DX9 radio, and I'm going to program the Sport Cub S onto the DX9. So the first thing I usually like to do is hold down the roller button while I turn it on. And that brings us immediately up into system setup screen. I'm going to do a model select. Come down and add a new model. Say create. And that's it. So that creates the new model. It's model number 29 on this radio. And it defaults all the trims to 0 and stuff like that. All the switches are in the default position. So I'm going to go into the system setup. From the function list, I'm going to scroll toward the bottom to get to the system setup. And yep, definitely want to do that. So model type is always aircraft, and it's always by default, so you don't have to change that. So I'll go right to the model name. So I want model number 29, but I want a space after that, so I'm going to hit the roller once to let it start flashing, and then hit the clear button twice to give me a space there. I'm going to roll over 1, and I'm going to call this Sport Cub S. There's Sport Cub S for the name. Okay, aircraft type. It's going to be normal, even though it has 2 ailerons. The way those 2 ailerons that work with the receiver inside, they act as one, and I know that because it's 4-channel from the DX4, and the tail is normal, so no need to change anything there. Flight mode setups I'll do later. I guess I have to do them now. So I do need a flight mode setup, and I want to use this button up here, which is the button B on the top here. That's button A there, so this is button B, and because that's where we're going to have the beginner, intermediate, and advanced flight modes. So let's go ahead and do switch, and if you just hit the B button, it finds it for you. So I just flip the B button, and it finds that's switch B. And that gives us 3 flight modes, as you see it says at the bottom. And that's all we need to do. In the next screen, it just doesn't do much but show you. Okay, as you saw in the flight mode setup, basically all we did was assign switch B to be the flight mode. The spoken flight mode is where the more details take place, and so we'll go into flight mode, spoken flight mode, So the spoken flight mode allows us to change the name and let it say something.
Flight mode 1.
Flight mode 1 is not very descriptive, so I'm going to change that. Well, wait a minute. Let me go back to flight mode 1. Flight mode 1, remember, is beginner mode. Well, this radio doesn't say the word beginner mode, but it does say something about self-leveling. So I'm going to change what it speaks down here to say, and we'll go way down here to the end. Okay, and somewhere down here toward the end it says, let's find it, keep going, gets right around here, there it is, self-level. Okay, notice it also has a panic, which we'll use later for the panic button. But self-level is the best way to describe what beginner mode is, because that's what it does.
Self-level.
So self-level is what I'm going to call the beginner mode, because this radio doesn't say the word beginner, nor does it say the word intermediate. So we'll get to that in a minute. So flight mode 1 is going to say self-level. So I'm going to go and click on that and change this. I'm going to hit the clear button twice, and we're going to have it say, oops, self-level. Okay, so there's self-level. It says, going to say self-level.
Self-level.
Okay. And so that's mode 0 on this switch. I'm going to flip the switch to mode 1, which is called flight mode 2, which is okay. So flight mode 2, there is no intermediate. So the best thing I can find that it says is right down here somewhere, called, wait for it, stability mode. Okay.
Stability mode.
So stability mode is what I'm going to call intermediate, but it's the intermediate position where the thing will sort of remain stable, because there is no intermediate mode spoken in here. Maybe someday soon they'll have a voice upgrade and it'll say intermediate, but right now it doesn't. So I'm going to have this say stability mode. There's stability mode. Stability mode.
Stability mode.
Okay, and flip the switch to the final up position, which is position 01, that's position 2, and that's flight mode 3. And so for flight mode 3, we're just going to use the term normal mode. So the name is normal mode, and we'll find back here toward the beginning there's something called normal. Oops, let's get that right. Normal.
Normal mode.
So we've got self-level mode, stability mode, and normal mode. So those will be the names of the 3 modes that we'll call out in the spoken flight mode. Okay. It's important to get the channel assigned right. Okay, so I'm going to refer back to the manual where it describes this. And just to show you again, we're doing this setup on the bottom of page 5, and so we want to set the gear channel. Now, okay, so we want the gear channel and the aux1 channel. And the gear channel, I want to not be, they say put it on D, and I'm used to using the flight modes to be on the switch B, so I'm going to not do what they said because of how I like to fly. So that's going to be gear, which is channel 5, and that's going to be on the D switch, on the B switch, not the D switch like they said. And aux1, I will go with what they recommend, which is the I. Okay. So, and then the rest are default, won't matter because the receiver is only has the 6 channels. Okay. So, now the next thing I want to do is go down to warnings, and this is where if you leave the throttle up too high, it gives you a voice and vibrate warning, and it won't let you do anything until you're in the right mode. So on the gear channel, we got 1, 2, or 3 positions. So I'm going to make sure it gives me a warning unless I'm on the position 2, which is the normal mode. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm wrong here. Wait a minute. I want the flight modes, not the gear. So flight modes 1 and 2, I want to have a warning, and flight mode 3 will tell me that the give me a warning when I turn this on. And then if I press the panic button up here, okay, I want it to do something. So I'm going to go into system setup, and I'm going to go down to sorry, not system setup, go back to the main screen. In the function list, I want to have a custom voice setup. So what a custom voice setup is, it tells you something that you pressed a button basically. So custom voice setup says add a new sound event, okay, switch change report. I'm going to hit the panic mode button here, and it gives me switch I. So whoops, switch I. So position 0 is normal mode. And this is going to say panic. Where we back down here, where we saw panic. Make sure I didn't pass it here. Okay, so I'm going to go
panic, normal mode, panic, normal mode, panic, normal mode.
So that's my panic mode. And that should happen anytime I hit the button up there. It should go into panic mode, and we'll test that. And then one last thing that's important here is in the servo setup, reverse aux 1, which is the panic mode. So we need to go into servo setup, travel, reverse, and reverse aux 1. So by reversing aux 1 is the panic mode, and it's we'll find out very quickly if this is right or not when we go fly. But I'm pretty sure I've done this before, and this is what I think it has to be. So aux 1, which is channel 6, is reversed, and that should work. Okay, let me go ahead and while I'm here, I'll set the timer. I want the timer to be a countdown timer. I'm going to start with 7 minutes. I want it to be one time active, meaning once I throw the switch and it goes over, actually I like it to be almost 40% before the timer activates. Okay, and then every minute I want to hear the voice tell me down 1 minute. At 1 minute I want a voice. At 30 seconds I want a voice. 10 seconds to 1 second, the tone is fine. And I want a voice to tell me the time it's expired, and every minute up I want a voice. So it's going to talk to me a lot. Okay, so that's the timer.